In this video, you're going to learn exactly how you should be setting up Google Ads search campaigns in 2023. I'll be setting up the campaign live on camera, explaining every single step along the way. So make sure you stick around and watch the whole video so you don't miss any of the important details. And with that being said and done, let's jump into the video. Welcome to the A4 Academy demo account, and this is where we're going to do the live demonstration. As I mentioned previously, we will be setting up a search campaign together, and I'll be setting up an exact match keyword search campaign specifically. So let's go ahead and create a new campaign here in the top left. And the first thing we brought to our attention is the campaign objective. There is a lot of debate about what you should be selecting here. A lot of people say without goal guidance, or you must use one of these because it will determine the success of your campaign. To be completely honest, it doesn't make a difference in my opinion. There's no official line from Google and I haven't seen any difference. So I'm going to go ahead and go with sales on this occasion, as I think that's probably what most of you will be using. Either sales or leads will be your goal. So I'm going to go ahead and click sales. And I'm just going to go and thin out these conversion actions to keep the one that I want, which is subscribe. So make sure you've got one conversion action here, unless you've got multiple tags set up for specific conversions. But I think most of you should just have one conversion goal here. And this is what the algorithm will optimize towards. So make sure this is the goal you want. If you've got other products on your website that you don't want the algorithm to optimize towards, then don't include those here. You can always measure those in the all conversions column anyway, so don't worry too much about that. One primary conversion action should do just fine. Next up, now we want to pick our campaign type, and obviously we want to go with search here. And then now it's the ways you'd like to reach your goal. So how are we going to get these sales? Is it website visits, phone calls, shop visits, and app downloads? I'm going to go with website visits, as I think that is what most of you will be doing. If you want to get phone calls for leads, then you want to click phone calls, shop visits, etc., etc. And app downloads, pretty self-explanatory. So go ahead and put your website in here, info.academy, and then finally we want to come down here and name our campaign. So I'm going to go generic search US. That way I know it's a generic search campaign in the US market. But feel free to name it whatever you want. Next up is your bidding. So here is where you decide how you want to go about that. And you've got several options here: conversion value, clicks, or impression share. And obviously if you click here, you've got target conversions. So if you go with conversions, you will end up with maximize conversions. If you go with conversion value, you'll end up with maximize conversion value. And obviously if you went conversions and then clicked set a target cost per acquisition, you are then using a target CPA bid strategy, which it explains here, sets bids to help you get as many conversions as possible at or below the target cost per action. If you were to use conversion value and set a return on ad spend here, you are then using a target ROAS. This will basically try to achieve the target ROAS you put in. So if you want to achieve 100%, 200%, 300%, whatever it may be, that is what the algorithm will go out and try and optimize towards. It's worth noting that both the target CPA and the target ROAS are both restrictive bidding strategies. So if you do set this too high, so if I was to go 500%, then you'd be very unlikely to spend any money at all. If you're having troubles with spend, then I would suggest kind of not using this at all, or setting something very low, like a 20%. That way you should get good quality of traffic and you're not restricting the algorithm at all. To be honest, if you are looking for sales, you may as well go with either one of these two, conversions or conversion value. I don't think clicks or sort of impression share is what you want to be doing. Stick with conversions or conversion value. If you've got lots of products with various different pricing points and you want to sort of shift priority towards the products that are more expensive, then I would suggest using conversion value. If you've only got one product running, then you probably want to just use conversions. And for most of you, I would suggest just going with maximize conversions or maximize conversion value to start with. Once you've got a good base of conversions, then you can start to play around with a target ROAS or target CPA. As you'll see here, if I put in a 250% ROAS, it's best not to do this at all until you've got those conversions already running. So like I said, stick with conversions or conversion value. For this example, I will use maximize conversions. Straight away, we want to remove the search network and display network. If you want to run display campaigns, you should be running display campaigns in their own campaign type. So remove that immediately. And search network just includes the search partners. I've never seen any value come from this. Can bring down cost per clicks, but it's never really helped me with conversions. So you're better off starting without it anyway. Next up, you want to come up and choose your countries. For this example, I'll use the United Kingdom, but you can also include sort of locations manually. So if I wanted to also say the United States, I could do that. However, I would actually suggest you go into advanced search and you paste in a list of states, and they should all pop up here. And then you save that list of states instead. That way you can keep an eye on performance by state instead. But that's entirely up to you. Just make sure you select the area that you want. And then a lot of people will tell you to switch this to people in or regularly in your target location. So this removes the interest part. Now that can be the right thing to do, perhaps if you're service-based and you're locally service-based. But remember, people are also searching, for example, if you're a removal company, people will also be searching for removals in different states, even though they're not in that state. So just bear that in mind when you're deciding what to do here. I actually tend to go with presence and interest, but I'll leave it up to you based on the business type that you're running in. Finally, we come to the languages. Again, I'm going to stick this with English. You should put in whatever language that's appropriate for your target audience. So if you're targeting, Spanish people in South America, then you should put in Spanish and maybe English as well. It's entirely up to you, but make sure you have those multilingual ads if you are doing that. Audience segments, you must keep this on observation mode. And I would go in and just select a bunch of audiences that are relevant to your audience. Now, we're using smart bidding, so it doesn't really help us in that regard. Doesn't really help us to use bid modifiers here. So we're going to use this more for sort of observational and research purposes. If we noticed a lot of social enthusiasts are converting through our search campaigns, then maybe we can use that in other campaigns. So that's really the only reason we want to do that. But it is definitely worth doing, so please do include it. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, this will be for a exact match campaign. So I recommend, you must have this turned off. Otherwise, all of your keywords will move to broad match. And you don't really want to set this at the campaign level anyway. You should really be setting this at the keyword level instead. So keep this off regardless. Next, the automatically created assets. This is again something I want to keep switched off. The issue you have with this is unless you've got a highly targeted landing page, you start using DSAs and it starts pulling information from your landing page which might not be relevant, and it starts creating sometimes some strange ads. So by all means use it, but if you are using it, make sure you're keeping a close eye on the ad copy that's being created. And in more settings, you can set your start and end dates. I usually set a start date for the day I want to run, obviously, and I don't tend to set an end date, but if you do want to, then you can. One thing I would say here is that please try and run these campaigns for at least 30 days, especially if you're using smart bidding, as it does take a long time to optimize. And down here as well, we've got brand restrictions. So this is how you can negative out some of those competitor brand keywords or competitor products, whatever it may be, if that is desirable for you. I would say if your keywords are close to a competitor term, then it might be worth doing this, because I would always recommend having competitor terms in their own separate brand campaign. So make sure you're not running any competitor keywords or your own brand keywords anyway. You shouldn't be, because you'll be using exact match keywords in this campaign, so you should be okay. But if you do see any competitor or your own brand keywords crop up, you want to negative those out immediately, and you can do that manually at the ad group or campaign level later down the line. So I wouldn't worry too much about this now. Now into keywords, and we've got our first ad group here. So for this, it's easy to miss this, but there is a little pen icon at the top and you can change the name rather than just having ad group 1. As I say in all of my videos, I highly recommend that everyone uses keyword themes. So I'm going to name this keyword theme 1, and I highly recommend you use keyword themes as well. If you want to know more about keyword themes, then you can check out the 84 Academy tutorials in the link below. They are paid, but they will give you an in-depth review of keyword themes, even a live demonstration on exactly how you should be setting them up and how you should be running these campaigns and preparing your keyword lists and ad copy prior to even setting up the campaigns. So go and check that out if you want to know more. Alternatively, feel free to drop me some questions in the comments below and I'll be happy to reply to you there. This keyword theme, we're going to talk about Google Ads. So we're going to go Google Ads tutorial, and just so you guys know, you can't run Google Ads tutorial campaigns on Google Ads. Obviously, they do not like that. So this campaign is not going to go live, but if it did, it would probably get rejected anyway. So I'm going to go Google Ads tutorial and Google Ads course. And I'm putting the brackets around this to make sure that those keywords stay at exact match. If I wanted to make this a phrase match campaign, I would replace the brackets with the quotation mark. So I'm going to put that back to the square bracket. So that should keep both of those at exact match. Make sure your final destination is in there. And this is where you want to add in your ad copy. Now, as I just mentioned with the keywords and the keyword themes, you should have your ad copy built before setting up any campaigns in the first place. You should be coming in here and just pasting in your ad copy from your Excel or your Google Doc. If you want to see more videos about that, then we will have one posted on the YouTube channel shortly, so go and find that. But again, we also have the in-depth analysis and a very long video tutorial on that in the 84 Academy course, so go and check that out in the description if you want to. Add in as many of these things as possible because you want to make your ad as prominent as possible. Obviously, this is a generic picture here. We don't necessarily want to use that. We want to have something brand related. I don't have that to hand right now. Again, site links, you want to add in as many site links as possible. I know these are all up and running. I want to add all of these, but make sure you go in and don't add too many site links that distract away from the product that you want to make the sales on. Otherwise, people may end up getting distracted, going to view another product, and you've kind of lost the focus of your campaign. So good to have choice, but make sure there's not too much choice, and if those site links are getting too many clicks away from where you want the campaign to focus on, then you can always pause those later down the line. Add in the call outs and basically add in as many of these as you possibly can. If you've got pricing there, go ahead and add those as well. Anything in promotions, go ahead and add those if you have them. Lead forms maybe not necessarily appropriate if you are doing sales, but for lead gen, definitely. Structured snippets, of course, and just go and bulk this out as much as possible so you've got that maximum amount of screen dominance in your ad itself. That extra screen dominance will help you get higher click-through rates, be more attention grabbing, and will generally just help your campaign improve. So once we've done that, we can scroll back up top, just double check everything's good there, and keywords we've got are correct, and the ad is also there as well. Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and click next. Now, daily budget. This is a tricky one and can depend on a lot of things. I would say the best thing to do to work this out, and I mean, I would just ignore Google's recommendation anyway. But the best way to work this out is if you're using smart bidding, you want to give it 30 days to optimize fully if you're being fair to it, and to make sure you're getting in the right negative keywords and you're refining the campaign quickly enough. So I would go ahead and work out how much you're willing to spend over a 30-day period. Then I would work that back to your campaign budget. So if I want to spend £1,000 a month, then we'll be looking at sort of like a £33 daily budget. That is a healthy budget. Obviously, don't worry if you've got less to play with here. You can always start much lower, but I'd try not to go anywhere sort of lower than the £5 mark if you have to go much lower. And if you are working with significantly lower budgets, even £30 a day is a little bit on the low side. If your keyword volumes are very high, then I would go ahead and bring down those keywords significantly, because if your keyword list is too big and your budget's too low, you're not really going to be able to get the sort of tangible results that you need to run an effective campaign. You're not going to be able to get enough clicks per keyword to see what's working. Go for those super high intent keywords. Best Google Ads course available, best Google Ads tutorial. Start with those first, and then you can broaden out the keywords later if you're working with those lower budgets. But as I said, check the volume of your keywords, and you want to be hitting at least, I would say at least about sort of 20 to 25% impression share per month on that keyword list to be able to get tangible results. And last but not least, you're at the review page, and obviously you just want to go through here one by one, each line item, and just check that everything is what it should be. And once you're happy with that, you can just go ahead and click Publish Campaign. You should have all of the right foundations and settings to run things effectively. And like I said, you need to give it sort of 30 days just to make sure. But at this moment as well, you also probably want to go into your ad group, and this is where you might want to add your keyword theme number 2 if you have that. And if not, you want to just go into your keyword theme number 1, go down to the keyword level, and you just want to check that these match types are in fact exact match. If they're not, then you want to go in here, double click these, edit, come down here, change match type, and then you want to go change all match types, and then you just want to put it to exact match. Seeing as you haven't run the campaign at all yet, you've got no data, I would just click apply. But if the campaign's been running already and they're on broad match and you want to bring them to exact match, then I would click keep original and duplicate the keywords, and then I would pause the new, let's say if I put it on phrase match, I want to duplicate them and I want to pause the old keywords, just so you don't lose that data when you look back at things as well. So if you do change that, change it directly here, you lose all the previous data there. So make sure you do that as well. That is how you should be setting up your search campaigns in 2023 and likely into 2024 and probably 2025 as well. As I said, smart bidding is very, very effective, and we definitely should be using it. 80 to 90% should be using it. If you do want to run manual, then absolutely that's fine. You can run manual, but just bear in mind that there will be a lot more optimizations and a lot more data that you'll have to sort of sift through to run that effectively. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have and want to support us, then please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future videos. We've got a bunch of links in the description with both free and paid resources, so please check them out. And if you've got any questions, the easiest place to contact me directly is in the 84 Academy Discord server, but I do also try my best to respond to every comment below, so feel free to do that as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.